why stress management is so important to learn, and more importantly, not only learn it, but to implement it.
Oh, absolutely. Like, I know for myself, my belief system growing up was I'm not good enough, or I don't deserve to be loved, or I don't deserve to feel good. And that led to myself, abusing substances and self-medicating to deal with that. And it wasn't until I stripped that back and actually realized what I was doing, socially felt like I wasn't adequate enough to be in a social situation without drugs and alcohol, when that's not really the case. That's just a belief that was ingrained into my brain.
And it became your go-to.
Yes, absolutely.
To dumb it out.
Yeah.
And everyone says to us, you're selfish, you're self-medicating, you only think of yourself. But in reality, we're self-harming.
Yeah, oh, yeah, definitely.
So we have to learn how to use stress management to get to a different outcome. I've been doing this now for, since I never did anything else, but over 10 years now, helping people to understand stress management and how it can impact directly to their lives if you can actually handle difficult situations in a far more effective way. Now I'm going to get Brooke to read this straight from our workbook so that you'll understand it a little bit more.
There's two types of stress. So we've got natural stress. Natural stress is the natural response to our physical environment in order to tend to our basic needs in life. This includes air, water, food, and shelter. Natural stress is our system's attempt to keep us alive. So this is based on reality, so what's actually going on, and is an immediate response to an actual threat. At this time, our body releases certain chemicals and hormones into our system that give us more energy and strength to respond to that threat. Natural stress is survival, is based on reality, and is useful. It's been ingrained in us since, the beginning of time, since we were cavemen and had to run away from a threat.
I like a big bear or a Crantosaurus sort of.
And then we have our psychological stress. So psychological stress is a reaction to a perceived threat, to what we believe to be our needs and for our psychological well-being. So this isn't necessarily based on reality. There's no actual threat to our person, but rather to a perceived threat to our sense of self-worth, so usually based on goals. The brain doesn't make a hard distinction between natural or psychological stress, so the same chemicals are released into the body, except in psychological stress, there isn't really anything to fight or fight from. And as a result, these excess chemicals create undue wear and tear on our system. Of course, this psychological stress varies from mild to day-to-day stress to more major concerns, where the fear that life is a threat becomes debilitating. Basically, psychological stress is based on our beliefs and is not reality. It's our thought processes, and is measured on our self-worth.
And I guess this is where it all came undone for me when I had PTSD, is both the natural stress and the psychological stress became anxiety. And then the anxiety turned to PTSD because I didn't know how to compute it in my own brain. So it became more and more natural. My go-to was to become anxious, was to become depressed, because I didn't have the tools to handle the stress more effectively. Okay, so what I want to do now, I want to cross to our friends at Mental Wellness Online and show you a clip from their Apple Pie for the Brain. I refer back to it all the time because it's only $50. You can play it over and over for the whole family. So have a look about what they have to say. This is just a snippet from it.
We have been using 4 new beliefs. We call them upgrades. And what are some of those upgrades?
I'll let you answer them. And
We can answer the first one, which is, life is not going to plan. What does that mean? My life hasn't unfolded the way I thought it would. I had a plan when I started my journey in life that things were going to work out the way my parents had told me it was going to happen, or what society told me it was going to happen to me, and it didn't happen. So really, life hasn't gone to plan, and I don't feel good about that. So I'm feeling pretty bad about my self-worth, and I've attached everything to that. So life's not going to plan. We need to look at the upgrade of that, and the upgrade that we teach is that it's the journey of life.
Yeah.
Okay, it didn't go the way you thought it was as a child when you had this vision of what your life was going to be. But who was to know how would the things unfolding in your life? Certain environments, certain situations, certain occurrences can change your goals for whatever reason. And it's understanding that this is the way it was going to be, and you had no control over it.
No.
Yeah.
And we learn those beliefs from 0 to 7 years old as
Yeah.
well. And that programming comes in from mum, it comes in from dad, it comes from culture, society, religion, school.
I always say to clients, there's a very basic rule. If I make this decision and there's going to be a negative outcome, don't do it. If I'm going to make this decision and there's going to be a good outcome, do it. And then I say you have to go home now because you know everything.
It's the whole program done.
But that implementation to your life is far more difficult than that simplistic thing that I've said.
Yeah.
But the simplicity of it is crucial in getting you to learn the tools to deal with life and upgrade and come to a different outcome. Let's look at a bit more about what mentalwellnessonline.com, Apple Pie for the Brain, has to say.
These days, few of us are actually being chased by large carnivores. We're more out. We're on the freeway. We have bills.
Road rage, you mean?
Yeah, well, road rage, yeah. But we have, we have bills. How am I going to meet my expenses in life? And these things are taken as actual threats to our existence. And it's not a life and death situation, but we sometimes interpret it that way through our social conditioning. And what ends up happening is we are running in that activated phase of our nervous system, the autonomic nervous system, that sympathetic nervous system, which is activating fight, flight, freeze, fold. You got these 4 things that are going on, and we're not supposed to be in that for very long. That's really a life and death sort of thing. I got to get out of here, and then
We're overusing it.
it's way overused.
Yeah,
We're
and
sort
that's
of
what's happening now.
yeah. For many of us, we're stuck in it, and it's just
And we don't seem to know how to get out of that psychological stress, and that's, I find with here, this is going to be a good program for people to understand where their actual beliefs are coming with it,
yeah.
and understanding what they need to do to upgrade that. And
I remember prior to me knowing how to upgrade, I would get anxious when people did the most simplest of things.
Yeah.
They say, well, what's wrong with you? You've got a good life, you've got a good home, you've got a great family. But because my anxiety was getting out of control because of my stress, I would act disproportionately to what was going on.
Yeah.
And I'd lash out. I probably was the worst partner in the world. I know that's hard to believe. And I was probably the worst parent in the world as well. But now I would say I'm the best partner, and I know Carol may disagree with that.
We'll have to get her down here.
And of course, my sons will probably disagree with that as well, but they're pretty well balanced in having a father that's been through that post-traumatic stress. Learning how to go to a different place. I use breathing. Now I use Wim Hof breathing. Those of you that don't know about that crazy Dutchman that immerses himself for 1 hour, 47 minutes in ice, which is crazy. So what I do is upgrade it. I breathe. And I say when I'm a bit stressed, and I'm going to do it 10 times, I never get past 5, Brooke.
Yeah.
And I'm tingly, I'm feeling good again, and then I do my upgrade when I've calmed down a little bit. Because all of us are entitled to be angry, we're entitled to be a bit stressed, we're entitled to be bored, and unless we can handle those things properly, we're never going to be happy.
Yeah.
So we need to
Absolutely.
learn the tools to be happy again
Yeah.
and embrace that when it comes along. On my phone, I've got my 4-year-old grandson with a helmet on sitting on my Harley Davidson. How cool is that? And I just look at that, and they're the good things that you can smile at, and I never stop smiling.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's about finding it's about accepting the fact that it's okay to feel a little bit stressed, and it's okay to feel a little bit anxious sometimes or a little bit sad, because they're warranted emotions, and not to let that overcome you. It's okay to feel like that. It's completely normal. And, and that's when you really really do feel freedom, and you start to actually feel happy within yourself.
What I want you to do is start to enjoy life again. I want you to be able to laugh at yourself, because I believe if I can laugh at me, no one can ever hurt me. If I take what we say in the old days, take the mickey out of myself, no one can ever hurt me, because people are so keen to criticise us and put us down, and if they can't do that, we lead a better life.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course.
So what I would like everyone to do that's watching this, I'd like you to go to mentalwellnessonline.com. It's called Apple Pie for the Brain. All of the family can watch it over and over for $50. It's about 3.5, 4 hours.
Yeah.
I still reference back to it because there's so many good tools in there. You're doing what's called a condensed version of our weekend intensive.
Yeah.
Understanding stress, and more importantly, what to do about it. Because not everyone can afford to come to a retreat and immerse themselves for 2, 3 or 4 weeks, can they?
No. And the online program is excellent. I myself do it weekly. I watch some of the videos, do a little bit of updating, refresh the brain. You always need to maintain the brain.
For those of you that feel that it's too much at the moment, that you can't handle it, that you feel like you're losing yourself within the
Yeah.
relationship, it doesn't mean anyone's done anything wrong. It just means you haven't got the tools to deal with it. Give us a call, let us help you, and all you need to do is learn the tools to enjoy the journey again, Brooke, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
There is one downside to you coming to the retreat. You could go home telling really, really bad jokes.
Really bad.
They're not mine. mine are really good. Wait for podcast 3 that's going to go up soon.
Yeah.
And next week, it'll be every
next
week.
week, yeah.
We're doing 8 or 10 of them, and let's make 2021 the absolute best time of our life.
Yeah, absolutely. Have a safe New Year's, everyone.
And I'll see you around like a donut.